Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It was like you could hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, rock stars, I got a lot of stuff to talk about today and only an hour to talk about it in, so we got to get to it. First story up, you guys, the Rolling Stones article on Puffy. Every top of the blogs is probably going to open with Puffy. I've been trying not to do that, but it is what it is, you guys. So yes, Rolling Stones did write a pretty scathing article about Puffy being a menace out there in them streets, and not only the entertainment streets, but probably starting long before he became, the Sean Puffy Combs. So Cheyenne Roundtree and Nancy Dillon, they wrote up this article in Rolling Stones magazine. Like I said, I did not read the actual article because you had to subscribe to Rolling Stones, and I'm just not subscribing to anything else. I got so many damn subscriptions, I'm tired of it, okay? I don't feel like paying shit. I don't want no automatic payments. I don't want nobody trying to ask me for no money, nothing. So what I did was I went to Vibe magazine that was free, and Vibe actually just hit all of the most scandalous parts of the article, I'm assuming. So that is what we'll be speaking on. I am going to Vibe should be a reputable journalist magazine, so I should be able to trust that what Vibe is saying is what was said in Rolling Stones. Anyway, so apparently the article talks about like all the things that he's been doing, the things that people have been saying, people that haven't been caught on record, or should I say haven't really made a case of it, haven't gone and, are trying to sue him for anything, but these are stories that were known and out there. That's what they concentrated on. And it kind of starts back when he was in college, his college days at Howard University. They said that he was always pretty controlling, one of those types of boyfriends. They had many instances when he was caught into some, going off on some woman or beating up a girl. They said that at one time there was a girl, I think outside of the dorms, that he was beating a girl up pretty bad, and other girls there had to interfere and pull him off of her because they were quoted saying that he was beating her ass. Also in the article, it's talking about Sister Souljah and how she had actually warned Joy Dickerson Neal. I think Joy Dickerson Neal is one of the people who have brought forth a case against Puffy, and that she had warned her against him way back in the 90s, early 90s. And Joy is also one of the ones that is saying that he drugged and sexually assaulted her. They were talking about times at Bad Boy Entertainment and saying how he was always threatening and scaring the women, in particular at his business. And Kirk Bellows, is that his name? Kirk Burrows, who used to be a former Bad Boy employee, even said that, he did see him assault a female employee there, and that Kirk Burrows actually was one of the ones that had to tear Puffy off of this woman, that he was just beating the brakes off of her. Former intern at Bad Boy, April Lampros, is the latest person to put a case up. That woman, she actually filed a case right after I did that top of the blogs, I think last Friday. So she is the latest person to file a case, and she's suing for sexual assault, infliction of emotional distress, and gender-motivated violence. Okay, she says that he's gotten violent with her on many occasions, and she also says that he forced her to give him a blowjob. Ultimately, she said that she was sexually assaulted by him like 4 times. Even one time, he forced her to come over to where he was and made her allegedly have sex with Kim Porter while he sat on the sidelines and watched and masturbated. Okay, and this is not too far off from what Cassie said that he would do. now we have somebody else that is also saying that that is what happened. And then we even had Rolling Stones mention how back when Biggie had died and Rolling Stones wanted to put Biggie on the cover, apparently Puffy told them, no, he's dead. Okay, I have an album that's coming out. This was his first album, No Way Out, I think was the name of it. This was his first album coming out. It was scheduled to come out, and he was like, no, I need to have that cover. So they ended up giving him the cover. And of course, you know, we've already heard talk about people believing that Puffy had something to do with Biggie's death. Actually, somebody just asked me this morning in my DMs, you know, did I believe that Puffy was involved in Biggie's death? And I was just like, I don't know why he would, you know, I don't know why he would be involved in Biggie's death, because Biggie was a huge money maker for Puffy. I mean, Puffy was making money a lot of places, but nobody will deny that Biggie was his biggest artist at that time, and probably ever. And so I was just like, I mean, it seems like he would be shooting his own self in the foot. But then as I was reading further along, in this article was saying how Puffy was pretty jealous of Biggie, and ultimately jealous of Biggie and Tupac's relationship, their friendship, and was always kind of the one that was coming in between them and swaying Biggie to believe something different about Tupac than what it really was. That song, Who Shot You, that Biggie had, that was a huge hit, they're saying that Biggie has always said that that song was not about Tupac. However, Puffy promoted that song as if it were about Tupac, and we knew that this song came right after the time when Tupac was shot at that hotel the first time. Remember, Tupac was going to meet Biggie at the hotel, and when he was getting on the elevator, then he was shot, remember? And so when the song came out, it just seemed like it was probably the wrong timing, but Puffy used that as the advantage and had Tupac and Biggie always at odds. We did always hear stories about how Biggie and Tupac was trying to get themselves back on friendly terms at the time that they got killed. But you know, between Suge Knight and Puffy, who I believe both of them had ulterior motives and a different agenda than what their artists had. You know, we saw how all that played out. They all both died. Nobody won in that sense, except for possibly Puffy, because they're saying that Puffy, on the heels of Biggie's death, and he had that, I mean, you guys remember, it was a huge deal, the song that he did with Faith, I'm Missing You, and it was just like everywhere you look, we saw Puffy, we saw the white clouds, you know, the heavenly angels, you know, him dancing, him singing, him, you know, that was a huge deal. That was a big money maker for him. He had like 5 million, he sold like 5 million albums, and that promoted Puffy quite a bit. And so some people are saying that, you know, he did do all of that because he wanted to have the shine and take it away from Biggie. Even still, when I think about that, I mean, it just really would have had to have worked out that way. I just don't know if he would have known for sure that everybody would have, you know, gravitated towards him after Biggie died. I mean, maybe he just knew that that was just exactly how it was going to go, because everybody loved Biggie and because Biggie was so, you know, connected with Puffy. Then that's how it goes. But it's still just, I don't know. Now, as far as Tupac is concerned, we know that Keefe D said that Puffy had offered him $1 million to kill Tupac. And at first, you know, everybody was just sort of like, okay, Keefe D is coming up with a whole bunch of stories. But now that we hear all these other things that Puffy was into, you know, it's not so far-fetched. So I can't really tell you if I do or don't believe it. I mean, it would not be impossible now that we see all the scenario and the things that they're saying about Puffy. It wouldn't be that far-fetched. But there's a lot of other stuff in there. You're talking about the Gina girl. You guys remember the girl Gina who Young Miami was going back and forth with? This was that Asian mixed girl that he was dating, or you know, fucking, whatever you want to call it. And when Young Miami, in her running her mouth and talking about the girl Gina. Remember, Young Miami was just like, please, you know, if I wanted to, I could have had Puffy have you, you know, do this, that, and the other, you know, get down on your knees. And I think she told her, like, put her face in a place, like, put, you know, in Miami's place. I don't remember exactly what it was, but whatever Young Miami has said about Gina and how Puffy would have made her do that, it was just sort of like confirmation that Puffy does have his women that he makes do sex acts on other women and, you know, or other men or whatever. So yeah, they're talking about Gina also in that article. Gina was the one that he supposedly paid $50,000 to terminate a pregnancy. I was like, girl, $50,000? That's all you got? I mean, damn. Okay, I mean, that's horrible to say, but you talking about damn near almost a billionaire, you know, $50,000 is a drop in the hat for him, you know, but that's what they're saying that he paid her. I don't think she has an official case against him. She's only threatened and said certain things. I think she went on some YouTube channels and had things to say, but she has not so far filed any kind of case. They're also saying that they believe that Puffy married, now this isn't in the article, but this is what I have heard. They're saying that they believe that Puffy may have married the youngest baby girl, Love, may have married her mother to keep the mother from being able to testify against him. I don't know if that is true, but that is also floating out there in them YouTube streets. So yeah, there's a lot going on. That Puffy situation, I did see that they're getting a grand jury together to possibly bring in the accusers of Puffy, and I guess trying to see if their stories are credible enough to bring forth this case. And like I said, I believe that Puffy is going to be going to jail. It's just a matter of time, but I do believe that. But of course, I will continue to tell you guys what they're saying out there. If I left anything out or if I got anything wrong in this or whatever, you guys feel free to leave it down below. You guys know the drill, child. Just say what you got to say about Puffy and next story. All right, you guys, so switching channels here. They're saying that Bravo's Summer House Martha's Vineyard has been paused. Now, you guys, I do not watch that show, but I do know that that show has been quite popular, especially in the Black community. I know a lot of YouTubers who review the show. I know Tammy. Hey, Tammy girl, you guys watch Tammy Talks? Tammy reminds me, she has a lot of my same temperament, I think. And I love to watch Tammy. I don't watch the Martha's Vineyard reviews though, you guys, but I think that Tammy does review that show. Anyway, yeah, there are a lot of YouTubers. I think Scotty reviews it, and I think Jay Lee has talked about it before, and I don't know if Brittany does, but you know, there's a lot of people that review that show, and I see it in the blogs all the time. Like, I always see them talking about the reunions and what so-and-so said and this guy breaking up with this girl and all that. I don't know the premise of the show. I think that they are in that house for a couple of weeks, and something is supposed to come about in them couple of weeks. Like I said, I don't watch it, so I don't know. But for whatever reason, Bravo has decided to put the show on pause. Okay? I don't know what pause means. They're saying that it hasn't been canceled, but it has not been greenlit for a third season. So it's been on for 2 seasons. And it hasn't been greenlit for a third season. So it's sort of in limbo. And a lot of people are upset about it and wondering why yet another Black reality show on Bravo has been canceled when they've allowed the likes of a damn homegirl with the restaurant. What's her name? Vanderpump. Like, those seasons continue to go on and on and on. The same type of drama. Why is it that a Black show has 2 seasons and then they've gotten the, not necessarily the axe, but the threat of the axe? I don't know. I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that it's a Black show, but a lot of people are saying that. What I will say about a lot of Black shows that are on TV is that sometimes our Black audience can be our worst enemy. And a lot of times when we are watching shows and the show continues to get on our nerves, the first thing that a lot of people will say is they need to cancel this show. Okay? They need to cancel this show. Instead of trying to give the show any type of chance, instead of them trying to address whatever the issues are on the show and change it up so that the show can continue to be successful. Sometimes, maybe more times than not, the networks will listen to the Black audience and be like, okay, we're letting this show go. All right. So sometimes we can shoot ourselves in the foot and we can start saying things sometimes out of frustration, might not necessarily mean it. Because I can't tell you how many times I heard people say they need to cancel Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't think that they need to cancel the show, but yeah, there are some things that need to be addressed and changed. I even thought that about Love and Marriage DC, you guys. I really honestly did. And I just felt like Carlos did not put any, he did not really try to I felt like he just left them that show to just fend for themselves, and it just really got out of control and a mess. All right. Anybody could have seen the direction that they were going on that show. They should have axed it and cut it all together and started fresh with a new season. All right. So, DC, and then of course they did do it to themselves too, because they are very much unlikable. A lot of them on that show are very much unlikable. But then now, after you see them post show and doing different interviews and kind of telling exactly what it is, knocking down the fourth wall and explaining exactly what's going on there. This man parked right next to me, like right next to me, just sitting in his car looking. So annoying. There's all parking spaces everywhere. You want to sit. Anyway, yeah, DC could have been, I feel like DC could have been fixed, but it's just, yeah. So I don't know if that's what happened with Martha's Vineyard. You guys that watch that show can let me know if that is like a true statement that these black shows get canceled on Bravo. I mean, I don't know of many black shows other than Real Housewives of Atlanta and Real Housewives of Potomac, that are really considered black cast that's even on Bravo. All right. I don't watch anything else on Bravo, so I wouldn't even know if that, if that is a true statement that they always get rid of black shows. But that could be maybe something generalized, just talking about black reality or black TV shows in general on all networks. Like they don't be given the same chance that other shows of the other persuasion on all these different networks have too. So you guys can let me know if you think that is true, or was the show just not good? I mean, how much of a relationship can anybody get in 2 weeks in a house? If that's what the premise is, 2 weeks ain't enough to do nothing. I mean, what do you got to expect shit to happen in 2 weeks and then everybody is gone? So maybe you guys can put me up on game. Let me know if that is what the show is about. And was it right for them to put the show on pause? Okay, next story. All right, you guys. So let's talk about this lawsuit that these three African-American gentlemen have brought against American Airlines. I forgot to get their names, you guys. But apparently there were three black men that were flying from Los Angeles to New York, okay, on American Airlines. This was back in January of this year. They were flying from LA to New York, and they had a stopover in Phoenix. Had no problems flying from Los Angeles to Phoenix. When they were about to board the plane to go from Phoenix to New York, they got on, no problems. They sat down, no problems, and were preparing to, take off like normal. And a flight attendant came up to them and asked them to remove themselves from the plane. Now, these three gentlemen did not know each other. They were not seated with each other or anything like that. Okay. But they were told that they had to get off of the plane. So they got off of the plane. And once they got out to the gate, they were told that there was a male white employee. There was a male white flight attendant who was complaining about body odor. Okay. And, apparently this male white flight attendant did not know who it was, but I'm assuming because they just told the black men to get off of the plane that he was saying that it was a black man that stunk on the plane. Okay. And can you imagine how embarrassing something like that would be? Again, you got to be reminded that they flew from Los Angeles to Phoenix with no issues. Nobody complained about body odor. Okay. So they were pulled off the plane, and they were trying to book them on another plane to go. So now I'm just like, why would you book them on a different plane if you already complaining about them having a body odor? Or you know, if that's the issue we are addressing, how much sense does it make to put them on another plane like that, right? So already it doesn't sound like a credible, it sounds like a bullshit ass story. At any rate, they tried to book them on different flights, was not able to get the accommodations that they needed to put them on another flight. So what they ended up doing was letting them get back on the same flight that they had been asked to be removed from, okay, back to their seats and continue on with their flight. So of course they are now suing American Airlines, as they should, because this had to be a very humiliating and embarrassing a thing to go through, you know, that you have just decided to tell these black men that they stunk, but you still ended up putting them back on the plane. These men now know that one of the flight attendants that work on this plane is complaining about, you know, possibly them stinking. You know, we don't even know if that was what the issue was. You know, that is clearly it's clear that this was racial, because you just pulled the black people off the plane. So yes, American Airlines definitely need to get ready to pay, because I would sue the fuck out of them people. No, you would get sued so quick. And you know, of course, American Airlines is saying that they are investigating this matter, you know, that they don't tolerate discrimination. You know, they have, you know, this is not something that they do. And I was just like, yeah, you as a company might not do that, but the representative of your company decided to point out these black men and say that they, you know, had body odor, yet and still, you still ended up flying them on the plane. You know, you guys fixing to pay. Yes, AAA, child. I'm so irritated with AAA too, but they not in this story. American Airlines, yes, they absolutely need to pay. I would have definitely sued, and they're going to get a pretty penny, as they should. Okay, double A. What is going on in my mind, you guys? American Airlines, you guys need to do better. Here's a pretty frightening story. You know, NBA legend Isaiah Thomas was held at gunpoint recently. And I think Tuesday morning, he went on to social media and he was just talking about what he had been through. He was just like, damn, a young kid had pulled an AK-47 out on me and was about to kill me. And the only reason why we are still alive, you know, him and his homies was out. The only reason why him and his homies were still alive to tell this story was because the kid ended up recognizing who Isaiah Thomas was and letting him go, I presume. Okay. But he was just saying how, you know, he's just really, you got to really pray for these kids, you know, the way that they move in these days, and in his own city, you know. So when he said in his own city, even though he hadn't really pinpointed exactly where this happened, but when he said in his own city, we know that Isaiah Thomas is synonymous with the Tacoma area, Tacoma, Washington, Seattle area. I believe that's where he's won his championships and all that. And yeah, he could have very easily been killed, you know, as this kid was probably trying to rob him and his friends and all. And thank God that he had a face that, you know, the young guy remembered. So from what I understand, that they didn't call the police or whatever. There doesn't seem to be any charges or anybody that was arrested about this, but he was just telling the story. So we don't know if there's more to it or not. But yeah, there's just another story about gun violence and how the youth are just, I mean, not just the youth, everybody got a gun. Everybody has a gun. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a gun, but you know, if you're using the gun for anything other than protection, you know, in your own, you know, on your own personal property or whatever, I don't know why you would need to have an AK-47, why you would need to have an AK-47 in any instance is still ridiculous to me. But, you know, these gun laws is just what they are. I don't see anything changing because it's big money involved, and you guys know how that goes. So, but yeah, we are glad to know that Isaiah Thomas and his homeboys were not killed, were not shot, you know, and that person had you know, something in his heart to let them go. But yeah, still the gun situation is still something that needs to be done. Something needs to be done about it. Something needs to be done about it. What else can you say about that other than you was lucky, okay, or blessed, whichever way you want to put it. Next story. Oh, you guys, I guess I can put this in here. I forgot to really get the notes on it, but Erica Banks, that's a new rapper. Well, she's not a new rapper. Well, from what I remember, now this might be this. You remember, I'm doing this off of memory. I didn't put it in my notes, but I think Erica Banks was the rapper, also from Texas, who also was signed to the same 1500. What was the name of the damn management? It was signed to the same label after Meg and old boy Carl, Evelyn's ex-husband, or Evelyn's baby daddy, I should say. I don't think they ever got married, but whatever his label was, when Meg and him fell out and Meg left the label and all that, and then they brought on Erica Banks, and Erica Banks, I've heard a lot of people say that Erica Banks did try to model Erica Banks's career after what they were trying to do with Meg the Stallion. Okay, may or may not be true. That's what I've just heard. Okay, and you're welcome to correct me on any of this. And it's always some sort of comparison between the two. Now, I have heard Erica Banks rap, and I do think that the girl can rap. Okay, she doesn't sound bad. And she's from Texas, so she does have like a twang as well as like Meg the Stallion does. There are many things that you can compare between the two of them. I just hate the fact that they are continuously pit against each other, and then Erica buys into being pit against her by always trying to say, you know, she's better, she does this, that, and the other. It's just sort of like, why? It's so much room at the table for everybody, you know. But they've used Erica Banks, and now she also falls into it. But yeah, I've heard her freestyles and everything. She's good. She is good. I don't know if I believe that she's better than Meg the Stallion. You know, that is just dependent on what you do or don't like. But again, it's more than enough room at the table. And it's just a shame that every time you turn around, they're comparing the two. As far as her new BBL that she's had down, child, I don't even really know what to say about it. Like, I'm not against people getting plastic surgery. You know, when you do what you want to do with your body, it's your body. I just wish that women would probably have the forethought to see that possibly all this enhancement that you are doing to your body in the long run might be negative. Yes, you've got this colossal butt that just doesn't even look normal. You know, nobody normally has a butt that looks like that when you have thin legs, but then all of a sudden you've got this butt protruding. I mean, right there, that screams that you've had it done. Yeah, and still, if that's what you want to do, fine. Okay. But it's just sort of like, what you gonna do when you get older and you got this huge ass, and you know, we see a lot of people removing all of their implants and removing all of their filler and all of that. And yet and still, you still have some women that are going and getting it done because, I mean, I guess a hard head makes a soft ass, or a big bloated colossal booty. Like, some people have to learn the hard way. Not that I'm wishing that on her, but it doesn't look, in my opinion, it does not look like, it doesn't look good, and it doesn't look appealing or anything. But I mean, it's not my ass, it's Erica's ass. So if that's how she want to look, that's just how she want to look. But have you guys seen that video of her when she's walking out onto the stage and they showing her from the back? And it was just sort of like, what? Like, who puts an ass on somebody that huge? Like, at some point, we got to start looking at the plastic surgeons. Like, what? Who is doing this? Why are you making these people walk around like that? You know? I mean, at least if you're going to get a huge ass, I mean, I guess you could really invest in doing something about your fucking legs too. Like even Cardi B's butt. Now, y'all know I love Cardi B, but even her butt is huge and damn near odd looking. But we see that Cardi has invested the money in having her legs match her butt, so it don't just look like all of a sudden you got some shit that's just sticking out. All of her whole bottom area is really big. But yeah, I you know, and we can argue until the damn cows come home about whether or not women do that for men or for women. You know, I think that in that environment, in that community, rap girls and all that, you know, everybody wants to have that look. And they're getting it, child. They getting it. But yeah, Erica Banks, I was just like, girl, that looks really ridiculous. Okay, do you guys like it? You know, there are some men out there that really, really love that. I did see the comments. I saw a lot of people that were saying, you know, she looked good and all that. She's not a bad looking woman. She's a pretty woman, you know, and it's just like, I mean, how do you put on regular jeans and shit? You run into the grocery store. Child, like, how you up here just pushing a cart down the damn aisle with a booty like that, child? I mean, who's getting some work done around there? I'm sure ain't nobody being able to do nothing besides stare at that. It's just unreal. And listen, I am in Atlanta, so I see huge butts all the time. Homegrown and corn-fed, as well as the ones that are created on somebody's table. And, you know, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why women keep doing this to themselves. I hope that something tells me that eventually she's going to take that out, or take some of it out. It's just too big, child. She too little. He is too big. No. What y'all think? All right, you guys, that is it. I'm gonna get on off of here. We do this every single week, Tuesdays and Fridays. So make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, Roxstars. Bye.